Our boomtown coverage continues tonight in North Idaho, where more people are calling home. The growth is driving up home prices, and traffic is driving some people crazy.
So the Idaho Transportation Department is now doing a study just to see what can be done along I-90 to save drivers time and prevent crashes. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is looking at the project and differing opinions on how to stay ahead of the traffic. Kyle?
Well, if you think I-90 is crowded now or during the summer months, consider this. Traffic is expected to double by the year 2045, so the state is looking for some solutions, and none of them are cheap. Since it was constructed in the 1960s, Interstate 90 hasn't changed much between the Washington state line and Coeur d'Alene. 2 lanes going east and west, 60,000 cars, trucks, and semis every day. What has changed is the number of people living here. In less than 30 years, the traffic volume is expected to double.
We really need to look at all the options.
Brian Rogers knows a thing or two about traffic.
I lived in New Jersey. We had a lot of traffic in New Jersey.
He's concerned with an idea that's getting some traction, adding a 3rd lane to I-90 in both directions.
So right now we need to identify what the needs are, how we can address them, and then what's the cost of addressing them.
The Idaho Transportation Department is collecting data for a widening study using radar and drills to see if the soil can support a 3rd lane and what on-ramps and interchanges can be improved. Another thing engineers have to consider are all the bridges and overpasses.
The thought of expanding I-90 has not made much progress in the past because of funding issues. Because when you're replacing bridges, you're adding a lot of dollars. It's a lot easier to add a lane sometimes than it is to fund replacement of a bunch of bridges.
The improvements could cost anywhere from $600 to $775 million. Funding for the entire corridor has not been identified.
The problem with all these projects is inflation in steel, asphalt, concrete is going up. But that's one that I know the community has talked about, and I'm quite certain it'll be funded.
Kootenai County voters said otherwise in 2020, voting against a $50 vehicle registration fee. The money would have helped fund 12 transportation projects, including widening I-90.
I'm just not seeing this being the solutions that we really need today.
Transportation officials say an extra lane would save drivers time, increase traffic flow, and reduce crashes.
I mean, we all know when we're sitting in traffic how frustrating it is, but it's also not safe. If you have like stop and go conditions, you have the opportunity for more crashes.
Rogers believes an extra lane would result in more traffic and collisions.
If everybody was like a train and stayed on their own tracks and was able to get down the road at a consistent speed, then this would be a perfect solution, but it's not, and that's not how people work.
He wants the state to build an alternative east-west route to encourage drivers to get off the freeway sooner.
We have a larger east-west problem here, and adding just 1 lane to I-90 doesn't solve that larger problem.
One thing Rogers can agree on is that Idaho needs to start planning and building for the future now.
A decade, 2 decades, 3 decades from now, what we do today will resonate.
And between now and July, crews will be shutting down a lane at night to complete that study. They plan to share those results and get public feedback during a meeting sometime this fall. Reporting in North Idaho, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.